Hello everyone, welcome to this video. Now as you can see, I have my Batman Premium format on my table once again, but what's different this time is that I'm using this custom head that I just got recently. This head is based on the artwork of Jim Lee, who's definitely one of my favorite artists when it comes to Batman and Superman as well. So if you don't know who that guy is, Jim Lee, then I sincerely recommend that you go and look him up and go read some of his comics, or at least some of the comics that he did the artwork or lines to. Now this sculpt, I'm just gonna zoom in before I go on, so just give me 2 seconds. Here we go guys, here you can see the head up close. Now this sculpt was done by Brazilian artist Thiago Provin, and it was painted by a custom artist in the Philippines. I think it was Sean. Some of you guys might know him from one of the custom making companies over there. And overall I'm extremely happy with this piece. Now if you look at the dark areas here, you have a paint finish here that is not exactly the same as the originals. It's a bit more shiny. It actually looks more like leather because it's so shiny. But still, as soon as you put on the head on the sculpt here, you hardly notice any difference, and I'm sure that is how this translates on my video. You can't really see that this is not, well, an original sculpt in terms of the paint at least. There are still hints of blue, and I'm definite that this is pretty difficult to tell on the video, but there are hints of blues and highlights like on the original heads. And of course we have his skin color, which is very different compared to the original one. I'm just gonna hold up my Andy B head here. You can really see the difference here. And I've been told that my head here isn't even as worse as it gets. I've heard from some people who had an even darker skinned Bruce Wayne than what I'm holding here in my hand. So yeah, with this custom head, that entire issue goes away completely, because you have a very light skin here. It's almost, well, too light, I don't know. At least it's more comic like, so it's not really a problem. There are some highlights on the skin as well, and the lips are a different color here. I think that the paint has been applied very nicely here, so I'm really happy with the paint application here. Now the eyes are white, just like the common heads here. As you can see, it's pretty much identical, I think. I couldn't really see any difference when I compared these heads in terms of the eyes. But yeah, I really like the way that this sculpt fits on the body of the statue. Let me just zoom out so you can really see. I mean, this is a very muscular version of Batman, and to be honest, some of the muscles are a bit exaggerated, and that might lead to this head seeming a bit small. I don't know, it's really a subjective thing. I've heard from some people who thought that this head was a bit too small, but to be honest, I think it fits on just perfectly. And as I said, the muscles of this statue, they are so exaggerated that it might, well, distort your view on this piece as a whole, I think. So it's really difficult to tell, but I feel that this head really fits onto the body very nicely. If I take it off, you can see that, well, it's just easy to take off. It has a magnet on the bottom here, and it just fits on perfectly. It's not loose or anything. They really made sure that it would fit on just as perfect like the original heads. And the weight of it, well, it has basically the same weight as the original heads. So it has this very good feel of quality, which is important, I think, when it comes to a custom piece. It shouldn't be too light and it shouldn't be too heavy. It should just resemble the original pieces as much as possible when it comes to that, I think. Now another thing I got when I ordered this piece was this base here, which is a very fine addition, I think, and you can actually get a few other ones for the other heads. They fit on perfectly onto the base here. I'm gonna show you a few pictures. But yeah, it's a really nicely detailed base which fits the premium format quite nicely, I think, in the sense of the theme of this base. And you can just put this right next to the premium format when you're displaying it, and really get the most out of your piece by displaying the alternative portraits next to the final piece. I think this is a nice addition, and I would wish that Sideshow did this themselves with some of their pieces, because, well, when you have this option of displaying the statue with different heads, it's a shame to put the extra heads in a shelf or in a drawer somewhere and never use them. It's nice to have them close, or maybe even within the same display, I think. Yeah, guys, that's basically it, I think. If you have any questions regarding this custom head, go ahead and throw me a message or comment on this video. I'm really happy with it, so if you have a chance of getting it, you should definitely do it, especially if you feel that the current offerings by Sideshow in terms of the portraits for this piece are a bit limited, or maybe not on the level that you'd want them to be. So I'm really happy here. I'm definitely gonna display him like this for quite a while, I think. Yeah, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, go ahead and post them, and do remember, of course, to subscribe and like my videos. Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.